Hi, I'm Scott Gentile of A2A Simulations, and I'm here to show you what the third generation of Accu-Sim brings to our latest product, the Piper Cub. The goal of Accu-Sim is to create the most authentic flying experience, and that is only possible when the aircraft includes the actual systems that exist. Over the past 2 years, Accu-Sim has allowed us to add features to Microsoft Flight Simulator X that were not previously possible. The first aircraft built with Accu-Sim was the Boeing 777 Stratocruiser that includes an intelligent and naturally speaking crew,
engine temperature is okay,
the ability to load your aircraft in real time, and most notably, real piston engines were added to the aircraft. For the first time, the customer was managing their cylinder head temperatures and oil temperatures and just living the life of a pilot in command of one of these big and beautiful piston-powered aircraft. We even created our very own oil system, which actually flows through the engine, it lubricates, and it can even foul your spark plugs if the conditions are right. Over time, your engines will age. With Accu-Sim, good piloting skills are rewarded. At any time, you can ask your own mechanic to inspect the engines and report back to you. The next generation of Accu-Sim brought us the P-47 Thunderbolt. In addition to adding a proper fuel and hydraulic system, the P-47 debuted a brand new feature-rich sound system that we refer to internally as Accu-Sound. The P-47 included over 200 professionally recorded custom sounds. The customer could open their canopy in flight and both hear and feel the suction. When you lower your gear, you can actually hear the hydraulic fluid pushing your doors open and extending the gear down. We have always believed no gimmicks required. Just make it real and you'll make it fun. And now we're creating a Piper Cub. There are many new first-time features going into this aircraft. For this video, we'll concentrate on one of those features, the propeller. Let's just walk you through a very simple takeoff and landing. Okay, here we are in the Cub. This aircraft has some very unique sounds. Those are rudder pedals, brakes, and elevator trim. I want to bring this back. Okay, about there. Okay, controls. Okay. Alrighty. The Piper Cub does not have a starter. Okay, so you have to hand start the engine. Here's our mag switch. This is in the off position. We want to make sure it is in fact, verify that it is off. Okay, prime the engine. Okay. Okay. Now this is how you start a Piper Cub. So now for the first time in a flight simulator, you can hand start the engine. You simply grab the prop and move it. Okay, and what you're hearing here are the actual sounds of the Cub prop. They call it a 4-stroke engine because there are 4 cycles to the combustion process. Now look at this prop and remember how a combustion engine works. First, the intake valve opens and the piston travels down, sucking in air and fuel. The valves close and the piston travels up, compressing the air and fuel mixture. A spark ignites the fuel and air mixture, causing an explosion. That's why we call it the internal combustion engine. The explosion forces the piston down. That is the power stroke. The exhaust valve opens and the piston travels up, pushing out what's left after the explosion. Okay, so as we pull this prop, this is a 4-cylinder, 4-stroke engine. Right here, one of the pistons is at the very top, and you'll feel the resistance. And then it'll pop through, and that click you hear comes from the mags. The mags are providing the spark to the engine. In this engine, you actually hear a click when those mags snap close for a split second and open up, okay? And what we want to do is we want to pull this prop through 2 compression strokes. That's 1, 2. Now that basically primes the engine. Now we pull the fuel to the engine, and what we want to do now is reach into the aircraft and move the mags to both, okay? Well, now this engine is live, and when you hear that click, it's going to actually provide a spark. So we would also want to crack our throttle a little bit, okay? And also just verify that our fuel is on, okay? It's off, on, okay. Okay, we're back here, and what we're going to do is we're going to pull this prop down, we're going to pull it fast with a throttle cracked, and this should start the engine. Here we go. Alrighty, okay, and we just want to make sure the throttle is correct. Okay. Okay. Just one thing to note here on our fuel system. When you use the primer, you can actually hear the fuel squirting into the motor. If there's no fuel in this tank and no fuel in the lines, and you use the primer, it will sound different. You won't hear the squishing sound of the fuel being pushed out. You'll just hear a dry primer being pulled out. We do that because this is something that you're aware of when you're using a primer system. You actually can hear the fuel. Also, the fuel cutoff. See, we can turn this fuel cutoff off, and the engine is still running. It's going to continue to run until the fuel in the carburetor is used up. It's no different from a tractor or a snowblower. It'll just take the engine some time until it's completely starved of fuel. This is just a little example of what you get with Accu-Sim when an actual fuel system is created and installed into the aircraft. Let me just take a moment and show you the finish that we're working on with this aircraft. Let me just spin it this way. Watch how the lighting brings out the detail. There you go. Right. And you notice the engine is shaking there. We're toning that down a bit at present. But it's nice. It gives a good indication of the engine power, and it actually is shaking the engine, and it's shaking the airframe as well. And those vibrations will show up on the airframe and in the gauges. We not only flew the Cub and took photographs and movies, but we also took measurements. There you go. Alrighty. One of the interesting exercises some Cub pilots do is to put their brakes on and balance the aircraft on their main wheels. So you put your brakes on, you hold them, and you increase the RPM till about 1800 RPM. Okay, now what we can do is we can push our stick forward. See? Now what we're doing is, be really careful here. See, we can balance the aircraft. Oh, we can go the elevator down. Can bounce. You can be really careful. You don't want to nose over, and also you don't want to smash your tail wheel on the ground. Okay. Okay, we're ready for a takeoff. Now, as we push the throttle forward, start rolling, we can push our stick forward and get our tail up. Okay? Here we go. It really takes nothing to get the Cub in the air. The Cub just wants to fly immediately, and then takes off. Here we go. All right, this is the end of part 1 of 2. In part 2, we'll show you the Cub in flight, including some close-ups of the gauges, and actually stopping and starting the engine in flight as well.